10:50.
Call from P.C.S.D Sheriffs.
And it's 9:14. Phone call from the P.C.S.D Sheriff.
Call.
Tucson, T.R.T. Research. May I help you?
Is this Aaron?
Yes, it is.
Deputy Dixon with the Sheriff Department. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I'm still getting unriled from being riled last night when they stole my private property.
Okay. What information do you have to report?
Well, I only reported that the cooler sides were gone, and upon further investigation, when I went out there this morning and parked the truck where I tried to block the guy in and tried to relive it, I found that I was missing a excuse me, one rusty 4x8 sheet of scrap metal, and it wasn't like sheet metal. It was like a heavy, not plated, not diamond plated, but it was just real heavy gauged metal.
Okay.
4x8 sheet. Also,
well, it's like, what's the approximate value of that?
Well, God, if I had to go buy it, I'm sure it'd be $50. But if I sold it, it'd probably be $30. But I wasn't gonna sell it because I used it. Probably $40. Let's go in the middle of what I think the high and low is.
Okay.
And then also a couple mismatching metal ramps. One was homemade. It had angle. It was also bent in a sort of moon shape. Not all the way like half a moon, but bent, just an example. It had angle iron sides, heavy gauge. It had rebar welded on it. It was homemade. And there was another ramp that was flat and like from the factory. It had holes in it. It was factory made, I guess, in nature. So they were both different. They were oddballs.
Okay, what's the approximate value of both?
Well, each of those, I guess if I had to go buy new ones of the gauge, I'm sure the heavier one would be about $70, and I'm sure the lighter one would probably be about $50, because they were mismatched, but I used them as a pair.
Okay.
And then also, you might want to document in there that I went ahead and called all the scrap metal places around town and gave them the case number and this new information that I just gave you, so that they could have a better heads up if this turkey in this El Camino or Ranchero pulls on their scales with my stuff. So they might, if they go through the scrap metal places, they might call you guys. I'm trying to help the investigation move on faster because, well, I know you guys don't assign it to a detective for probably 3 days or something at least.
Sure.
And so that's pretty much what I have to tell you in a nutshell.
All right.
And then on another note, your officers that were out here gave me the information for victims of crime.
Sure.
But in another case number, I just called in and got transferred around, and a guy, Mike, down there told me to tell you to see if you could help out. I was a victim in another case, and they never sent me the information for victims, and I guess the guy was indicating, Mike down there, that you could make that happen.
No, I cannot. What type of victim information are you talking about?
It's information for victims, and you guys give it to victims in a crime of, say, like I almost got hit with the guy's car out here, and he stole my property, so I'm a victim. In another case, I was a victim by way of someone committing disorderly conduct.
Okay, it's the same form. Do you have a copy of of that other victim's form?
I have the first copy, so just use the same form and...
Yeah, it's the same victim's rights. Is it victim's rights information?
Okay, so I can just copy it, white it out, put another one on, and another case number on it, and just keep that in my record that use the same form.
Correct, yeah, it's just the same information. The only thing different is the case number that we write on there. It's the same form. All you can do is just reference that extra victim's rights information form.
Okay, and in a disorderly conduct kind of thing, not a domestic violence, but disorderly conduct, it would be I would have those rights, right, for all the rights.
Correct. It so applies. That form applies to any victims. Okay.
Any victims.
Correct. Any victims of crimes.
Okay.
Right.
That's me. I guess.
Spell your first and last name for me.
First name is Aaron. Last name is Rey.
Oh, A-R-R.
Aaron, like the guy in the Bible.
Sure. And your date of birth, please.
Do I have to disclose that?
Yeah.
Is it mandatory or voluntary? And if mandatory, under what statutory authority, code, or ordinance?
Wait. When an officer asks you to identify yourself.
Pardon me?
It's mandatory.
Under what statutory code or ordinance or other lawful authority? I know it's mandatory if I'm driving.
Right, under identifying yourself to a law enforcement officer.
Okay, well, I did by my name, and you're calling my number, and it wasn't mandatory yesterday when I talked to your other officers. They said it was voluntary. Are they in error?
No, they're not. Okay.
So it's not. So yesterday, when they said it's not mandatory, they're not in error.
I'm sorry.
Yesterday they said it's not mandatory that I have to give a birth date. So.
It actually is. When I'm asking you to identify yourself over the phone, I'm trying to figure out if I'm talking to Aaron.
Well, you are. I'll go ahead and tell you this one time, but for future reference, if you guys want my birth date, I'm going to expect a Christmas card or a birthday gift. Because the complaint stays the same. It's still me, whether I'm born a day before or after the date it says on my birth date. It doesn't matter. You got my phone number. Now you're going to have my birth date, but I'm not going to keep doing this for you guys because I think you're wrong. And I have several officers saying that it's voluntary. Anyways, June 4th, 1968. I'm going to expect a Christmas card or something.
Alrighty, sir. June 4th, 68. We'll go ahead and document this information.
And when you run my name, because that's why I think you want it right now, to do a profile on me, you'll find that I have no warrants anyway.
Anything else we can do for you, sir?
Well, probably, actually, yes, sir, but if I started to tell you about it, you might not want to help me out, because it involves some deputies that have committed some criminal acts, in my opinion. So I'll just put that on the back burner for right now, actually.
As far as this report, we'll go ahead and document everything for you, okay?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to check to see if it's mandatory or voluntary to show ID or to give ID when making a complaint, because I don't think it is. I just would like you to check that out so you know whatever they tell you.
All right, sir. Anything else we can help you with as far as this report? If not, then we'll go ahead and finish this report for you, and you'll have a good day.
Okay, I guess nothing else, so I'm going to wish you a good day also, and then go ahead and have a better tomorrow.
All right, take care, sir.
Thank you. This concludes this portion of this documentation, and I think I just was threatened under the law, basically, of an unlawful imprisonment under the guise of a secret law that couldn't be disclosed when asked, that I have to disclose my birth date so that this guy can be sure who he's talking to, instead of him thinking that he might be talking to someone else who could also disclose my birth date, and he still doesn't know who he's talking to. And so his argument's kind of irrelevant, and I kind of think he's in the wrong, and either that or the other two officers here were in the wrong, because you don't got to voluntarily identify yourself. I didn't have to do it to the TPDIA. I didn't have to do it to these two sheriffs in my street yesterday. I haven't had to do it to other officers. I didn't have to do it to the Attorney General. I think that's who I called. And this is ridiculous. It's not mandatory. So now I'm going to call the sheriffs right now and find out if it's mandatory and make another video here in this documentation.